All right, hello everybody. We're entering the last phase of this class, okay? So we're going to focus on a document called Caritas and Veritate by Pope Benedict XVI, Pope Emeritus. He was Pope before Pope Francis. This is a big social encyclical written in 2009. We'll talk more about it, but this is going to be the basis for your final project in this class as well, okay? So this is part of looking at pastoral letters, in this case a major encyclical, and some major themes. All right. So some background here on Caritas and Veritate. There's Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. Released in 2009, as I said. Caritas and Veritate means charity or love in truth. Okay, so charity and love and truth are going to be very closely connected throughout this whole document. So theologically, it's talking about how love and truth are always inseparable. You can't love without an eye to the truth, okay? And you shouldn't have truth without love either, okay? So very closely tied together there. Main concern of this document is the integral human development of a globalized world. When we talk about integral human development, integral means whole, okay? Human development obviously means the progression of people, so making progress. So the development of the whole man and of all men. So we're talking about developing every part of the human person, okay? That's what the integral part means. And the every part of every person, all right? So obviously we're looking towards the fulfillment of all people. So within that context, that addresses a wide variety of issues throughout the world, okay? And so it pretty much touches on every principle and theme of Catholic social teaching, all the major social issues that are out there today. So for your final project, you're going to be looking closely at probably looking closely at one or two of these issues. So we're going to spend the next 5 or 6 weeks kind of digging into this document, seeing what it has to say about this stuff, and then you'll get to pick one of those issues to delve more deeply into. Okay. All right, so Caritas and Veritate. All right, nice little quote here. Get us started. It is the primordial truth of God's love, grace bestowed upon us, that opens our lives to gift and makes it possible to hope for a development of the whole man and of all men, to hope for progress from less human conditions to those which are more human, obtained by overcoming the difficulties that are inevitably encountered along the way. All right. In other words, it's God's love and the fact that we have received His grace that opens our lives and makes it possible for us to actually develop as human beings, okay, and to create societies that are conducive to that and that contribute to human development, okay. So it's the reception of grace. We're transformed by grace, and then that grace overflows into the world. All right, good theological foundation there. Okay, so I'm going to zoom through the introduction, and then we're going to go through the 6 chapters of the encyclical together, kind of week by week. Okay, so he begins by talking about authentic love, charity that can never be separated from the truth. Okay, love we've talked about as willing the good of the other as other. He gives another definition that is essentially the same thing. He says to love someone is to desire that person's good and to take effective steps to secure it. Okay, so desire their good and then do something about it. Exactly what we've talked about. Okay. Basic human goods are objective. They're the same for all of us. So life, food and clean drinking water, fruitful, meaningful work, community, communion with other persons. Those are things that all of us need for integral human fulfillment. Okay, that's the same for all of us. That's objective. Even though each of us has an individual calling, we're going to live that out in a different way. We're going to receive those goods probably in different forms. All right, but those basic goods are objective, rooted in objective reality. Because of that, if you're going to will the good of someone else, that has to be based on objective reality. Okay, he's fighting against subjectivism, which is say, well, what's good for me is not necessarily good for you, and you find your own truth and all of that. Okay. All right. He starts out by pointing out Jesus Christ is the perfect union of love and truth in his own person. Okay, the perfect expression of love is the cross. Okay, but that cross is based on an acknowledgement of objective reality, which is the fact that we need to be saved. We have sinned, and we are in need of God's mercy. Okay, so truth, we need that mercy, and then love is giving that mercy. All right, in that case, so his life and his teaching are models for how to live out Caritas and Veritate, love and truth. Okay, he says love is the heart of Catholic social teaching. I've mentioned the phrase before, building a civilization of love. I think that was John Paul II who said that. Okay, but love is the principle and basis for every relationship in society, both micro relationships, so family relationships, friendships, as well as macro relationships, social, economic, political ones, so on a big scale. Okay. All right. And love in truth, Christian truth, is the basic for all authentic human development. Okay, that is a fundamental assumption. If you're looking at Catholic social teaching, of course, we're going to teach that from perspective of Christian truth. Okay. All right, two main concerns here that he introduces at the beginning, both of which we have talked about: justice and then the common good. Okay. So he talks about the relationship between between love and justice, because a lot of people think, well, justice is giving them what they deserve. Love is completely different. Love is giving them something they don't deserve. Okay, so love and justice are separate things. He says no. Okay, you can't have love without justice. Love assumes justice. Okay, why is that? Well, justice, we've talked about, justice gives to others what is theirs or what is owed to them by right. All right. So if you purchase something, let's say that you buy a phone from me, you pay me the money, I give to you the phone that you bought. That's what's yours. It's owed to you by right. Okay. So justice does that. Love gives what is one's own while also giving them what is theirs. Okay. So if you buy a phone from me, you give me the money, I give you the phone, that's justice. And then love would say, hey, you know what? I've got this extra phone case sitting around. I'll throw this in for free. Okay. It belongs to me, right? It's not yours by right. You haven't purchased it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Okay. So love, but that wouldn't be love if you paid for the phone, you gave me the money, and then I go, I'm not going to give you the phone, but here's a phone case that you didn't pay for. That's not love. Okay. That's just gypping somebody. It's ripping them off. So love gives to them what is theirs, and then gives something that is yours to them as well. Gives what is one's own. Okay. So love gives to others what is theirs and then some. So love then assumes justice and builds on it. So anyway, his broader point is that a society built on love, as any society should be from a Christian perspective, has to first respect justice. So we got to start with justice. Okay. Love and justice require working for the common good. Okay. The common good being the sum total of social conditions that allow all of us to pursue authentic human fulfillment more fully and more easily. It should be more fully, not for fully. Okay. So, talking about social conditions that are conducive to human fulfillment. Whoops. I think I hit a number key. All right. Okay. So he talks about the common good as more of an institutional path to charity as opposed to an individual one. All right. Individual charity involves me giving to you individually what is your own. Institutionally, okay, this involves the government, public policy, businesses, other organizations. Okay. These have to work for the common good, especially. Okay. So he says to take a stand for the common good is to be solicitous for, in other words, to work for, and also to avail oneself of or to use that complex of institutions that give structure to the life of society juridically, civilly, politically, culturally, making it the polis or city. Okay. The body politic, this Greek word polis, the city. Okay. So in other words, to work for the common good is to work for the good of these institutions, okay, juridical institutions, so the court system and the law, as well as civilly, okay. So civil society is like organizations within society, so the Knights of Columbus, and Kiwanis and knitting clubs, athletic clubs, okay, all these kind of organizations that are bigger than individuals, but they're not the government, okay? Political systems, so obviously you're talking about elected representatives and those positions. Culturally, so the arts, media, okay, TV, movies, music, etc. So to work for the good of those things, to improve those things, and to use those things, okay, in order to create these conditions that allow us to pursue human fulfillment, okay? So that's the institutional path to charity, using all of those institutions for the good of all of us, okay? All right, closing quote to wrap up this introduction. Okay, only in charity, illumined by the light of reason and faith, is it possible to pursue development goals that possess a more humane and humanizing value. Okay, the sharing of goods and resources from which authentic development proceeds is not guaranteed by merely technical progress and relationships of utility, but by the potential of love that overcomes evil with good, opening up the path towards reciprocity of consciences and liberties. In other words, development goals, the goals that we set for human development, okay, what we understand human development to mean has to be understood in light of love, charity, illuminated by reason and faith, okay, because again, we're talking about the reception of God's grace being the basis for this, okay. So we need love illuminated by reason and faith in order to set the goals for human development and to share the goods and resources needed by that, okay, and to open up this path where we can exist in relationship of reciprocity. So you give to me, but I am also giving to you, and so we're mutually giving one another, giving ourselves to one another, okay? All right, so we'll dig into each of the 6 chapters of this, I think, week by week, and you'll have to do some work on your end as well. All right, thank you very much.